Hello, I'm Dr. Garrett Boyer. Welcome to Gospel Minded, where we spend a few minutes each week talking about psychology, our emotions, behavioral health, and we reflect on how these important topics are related to the gospel reading for each Sunday. I point out every week that this isn't intended to be a substitute for actually going to church or participating in counseling, therapy, spiritual direction if you're involved in those sort of practices. But like we know so well, like we've seen, things of our mind, our psychology, so often goes beautifully hand in hand with our spirituality. If this is your first time checking out this channel, welcome. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. Either way, I hope that you'll hit subscribe so that way you never miss an episode of Gospel Minded. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm a ways off. So if you can do that, that would be a great help for me in getting to that personal goal. So we have lit that fourth candle. It's the fourth Sunday of Advent, which means Christmas is right around the corner. I can't believe it. Where did Advent go? And really, this whole year for that matter, time has just really sailed by. This is a very special season, and now we're getting close to Christmas, and lots of good things happening for a lot of people around this time of year. I want to read the gospel because I think it has some relevance for us. It's from Luke chapter 1. It starts with verse 39. It says this: Mary set out and traveled to the hill country in haste, to a town of Judah, where she entered the house of Zechariah and greeted Elizabeth. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the infant leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth, filled with the Holy Spirit, cried out in a loud voice and said, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And how does this happen to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For at the moment the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the infant in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed are you who believed that what was spoken to you by the Lord would be fulfilled." I love this gospel reading from Luke, and it's just so beautiful. So Mary goes to her cousin Elizabeth, who in her old age has also conceived. And there's this beautiful moment where John the Baptist, the child of Elizabeth, leaps in his mother's womb for joy at the greeting of Mary. Now, what I think is neat about this gospel today is that what happens for Mary is something that will happen for a lot of us in a few days' time. Mary takes a trip and goes to see family. And here we are, close to Christmas. A lot of us are probably going to be spending time with family, preparing for a trip, going on our way. It can be great. I love being able to travel and get to spend time with family and friends. But you know, and I know as well, that traveling can be stressful. And though it is enjoyable, a lot of times it can be the case that there are stressors involved with it. And really with everything in the planning and preparation, when we actually get to our destination, when we are preparing to depart and actually on the journey back, traveling can present difficulties and challenges. So I thought for today, it would be fun to talk about some things that we can do to mentally help ourselves as we travel, as we prepare to travel, how we should function optimally once we get to our destination. So first things first, give yourself some time to prepare. And this isn't specific to traveling. Procrastinating causes a lot of problems for a lot of folks. But when we're getting ready to go on a trip, whether it's a big trip, a short trip, whatever, if we don't leave ourselves some time to actually get everything organized and put together, chances are something's going to get missed. Something's going to not make it into the suitcase. Now, best case scenario, it might be something small, like your phone charger or toothpaste. Worst case scenario is you'll end up like McAllister's and leave your kid back like in Home Alone. But the truth of the matter is that when we are rushing to try and get stuff done in preparation for a trip, we're going to miss some things. So I think it's helpful to leave yourself adequate time to prepare. And I don't know what that means for you. I suppose it depends on the length of the trip, where you're going, how you're getting there, what kind of things you need to bring. But to that point as well, in addition to having the time to prepare, I also find it very helpful to use lists. And that's not just for me when I travel. I use lists all the time. You know, we live in a society where attention deficit disorder is a prevalent condition. And whether you have attention deficit disorder or whether you're just sometimes not always attentive, when we get rushed and stressed and busy, it's easy to forget stuff. It's easy to lose track of things. And so if we are trying to pack and prepare and get ready for a big trip, absolutely make yourself a list and check it twice, because that'll help keep you on track and keep you from forgetting things. Because depending on what might get lost or misplaced or not be included in your travel plans, that can cause a stressor too once you get to your destination. Again, if it's something small like I forgot my comb, probably not a huge deal. But even those little things are challenges to be navigated when we get to our destination. So give yourself time to prepare and use lists to keep everything straight. Plan and make a schedule for what you're going to do when you go. So a lot of us are going to our families. Great. Try and plan out what you want your time to look like. Now, I know we always talk about nothing ever goes according to plan. Okay, got it. And we should still try to make some plans and try to set things out. Why? Because when we have something on our radar, it can kind of keep us on track, as it were. When we don't have any kind of plan, when we don't have anything scheduled, when we don't have anything to do, it can be an opportunity for us to get into some trouble, maybe spiritually, maybe with our mental health. Perhaps our thoughts start to race and wander. So when you're visiting family or friends or whatever this Christmas season, this holiday season, try and make some kind of plan. And even if it's nothing big, like sitting around watching movies, hanging out, I'm not really going to do anything. You know, you ask people, what are you doing for Christmas? I'm not doing anything. Well, you're not literally doing nothing. Everybody's going to be doing something. Know what it is that you want to do and then try and follow that as best you can while still having the flexibility to adjust and adapt and transition, because we know a lot of times things don't go according to plan, and we should still do our very best to make a plan and have some things scheduled. Think through how you're going to react to stressful situations. We're going to see family members. Maybe we have got conversations coming up with different friends that might be difficult or challenging. Maybe you'll have a flat tire. You know, who knows? Who knows what kind of difficulties lie ahead for us during the holiday season. But what we do want to know is, how am I going to react to some stressors that might come up? I've talked about mentalizing before. If you can kind of picture yourself in the midst of a challenging situation, responding in a healthy, optimal way, chances are when you are in a stressful situation, you're going to respond in a healthy, helpful, optimized way. Maybe imagine yourself taking some deep breaths. Okay, I'm stressed out. This isn't looking the way I thought it would. Why does it have to be like this? Okay, catch yourself. Deep breaths. It's going to be okay. Remind yourself it's going to be fine. So if you are coming up with a strategy for how you're going to react to stressful situations now, picturing yourself doing it, maybe practicing those coping mechanisms here and now, boy, when it actually happens in life, so much the better. You'll be prepared and will be able to handle it in as good a way as anybody could expect you to. So have a plan to manage stressful situations when they come up. prioritizing self-care. When we go on trips, when we go on vacation, it's so easy. I talked about that schedule, fine, but it's so easy to get super busy and stuff kind of piled one thing on top of the other. We still want to make sure that we're taking care of our mental, emotional, physical needs, and that we're doing the things that are going to leave us feeling really refreshed, recharged, energized. I don't know what that looks like for you. Some people really love having all kinds of activities. Some people need a little more space, maybe some time to unplug and disconnect and not be around a bunch of people, like an introverted sort of person. Whatever it is, whatever you need for self-care, make sure you do it when you travel, and whatever that looks like for you. And then traveling, it's good to unplug and unplug from the things that are really good to unplug from. Like if you're taking a trip and you don't need to bring your work computer or your phone, that kind of stuff, great. I think that's awesome. Give yourself a chance to really unplug. Unplug from the stuff that you can and should unplug from. On the other hand, do not unplug from the things that we should not unplug from. So for instance, just because you're on vacation or taking a trip, you should still be going to bed at a reasonable time. You should still be getting up at a normal-ish time. Maybe you sleep in a little later, but basic hygiene things. Please keep showering. Please brush your teeth. Please shave, and don't let life look so radically different from the way it normally does when you're on a trip. And that way, when you're on your way back home too, it can help to transition back into the normal routine. So these are just some of my own thoughts, some things that I ran across when I read a few articles, and I think it's good stuff. I'm going to try and take my own advice when I go for a little break around Christmas time. And to that point, I just want to say, from my family to yours, I hope you have a merry and blessed Christmas time. Next time I see you, we'll be in the Christmas season, getting ready for the new year. But I wish you all the very best, and I hope that I'll see you next time on Gospel Minded. Again, I'm Dr. Garrett Boyer. Take care.